Hello, my name is Sandy Adomaitis, the social media director for the Page International Screenwriting Awards, and your host for the Writers Hangout, a podcast that celebrates the many stages of writing, from inspiration to the first draft, revising, getting a project made, and everything in between. We'll talk to the best and the brightest in the entertainment industry and create a space where you can hang out, learn from the pros, and have fun.
Hey writers, it's Sandy. I wanted to let you know that the Writers Hangout will be back next week with all new episodes. In the meantime, here is a message from Terry Sampson.
Hi, this is Terry Sampson here, and it's January 2024, and apparently we're doing a rerun. Now, first off, if you've never heard it, it's new to you. And if you're like me and you can't remember if you heard it, again, new to you. So sit back and enjoy. It's also the time of the year in which people look back at their previous year and say confident things about the next year. And they get deep down inside and they say things and blah, 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 blah. Out it comes. And at the end of it, they feel all jazzed up to take on the new year. So go ahead and do that if you'd like. It's still a rerun, but you're going to feel better about the rerun. So that's good, right? Maybe I said something funny. Maybe I wasn't in this episode. This year I'm going to make all the meetings. And we're on.
Hi, I'm Sandy Adomaitis.
Hi, I'm Terry Sampson.
Terry?
Yes.
The tea you served me today.
I know.
It is so delicious. This is not an advertisement.
But if they were to send us a case, who's crying?
What did you put in this tea?
Okay. First of all, the funniest part about that is this tea is a standard Kroger tea, but they call it the British Kroger tea.
Okay.
And I find if you want to eliminate the gap, you say, I can't have coffee anymore.
Right.
But I certainly don't want any foo-foo tea.
Right.
This is it.
It's
kind of grindy. It's kind of earthy.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Cafe Compliment. That is the world's greatest.
Oh, is that the cream? That's what the...
It's so great.
Cafe...
Compliment. And it's so good.
Okay, Terry. I thought I would talk about one of the most infamous parties in Hollywood. And you're not going to guess who threw this wild party.
It's not obvious.
No, it's not obvious. You want to guess?
Is it an animated creature?
Animated is close, but it is not a creature.
Oh.
You have no idea how close you got.
Okay, Bugs Bunny?
Very close, but it's a real person.
Okay, that's better.
Well, Bugs Bunny, I'm sorry, wrong studio. It's a studio. Okay, I'll just tell you. Walt Disney.
Oh, great.
Yes. Walt Disney, you have the right to party. You have no idea how much I wish we could play a drop of Beastie Boys. You have the right.
Right.
I've been fascinated by this party since I heard about it years ago. To celebrate the enormous success of Snow White, Walt Disney hosted an elaborate party for all 800 studio employees in 1938. At that time, the Walt Disney Studios was located in Silver Lake, which is east of Hollywood. And for those of you who don't live in Los Angeles, how would you describe Silver Lake?
Silver Lake is a place where 27-year-olds go to retire. It's a hip neighborhood.
It's a very hip neighborhood. More city. It's not like the Valley.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of charming in a low rent kind of way, if I can say that. There's no low rent in Los Angeles, by the way.
No.
It wants to be.
You can have a cute bungalow off of Hyperion for $2 million. I was going to say 4, but that was too much. But yeah, the studio was located at 2719 Hyperion Avenue. And guess what is located there now?
I'm thinking, but it's not coming to me.
It is now a Gelson's.
Oh, Nelson's. Okay.
Yes. This is not my joke. It's Carlton Cuse's joke. He says the motto for Gelson's is, why pay less?
Right.
It really is a high-end grocery store. And if you're ever in that area, there's a historical marker on a lamppost between the two entrances of Gelson's.
And that's what's left.
That commemorates the Disney studios. So this is the time period that we're talking about. Oh, a brief history of locations of Disney studios. In 1923, Walt started Laugh-O-Gram Films. Adorable. Yes, and that was located at 1127 East 31st Street in Kansas City.
I believe that became Instagram later, didn't it? Laugh-O-Gram. Cute.
He was ahead of his time.
Way ahead.
Next came the Disney Brothers Cartoon Studio, and that was in his Uncle Robert's Disney Garage, which was located at 4406 Kingswell Avenue in the Los Feliz neighborhood.
Right.
So they really were hanging out, the Disneys, in East LA.
Well, if you go to a garage, your business is flapping a little bit. It's not flying.
Okay, you're going to eat your words.
Okay, I know I will.
This is where Mickey Mouse
Was born.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
In that
garage.
Did they
Yes.
keep the garage?
I think I did look up the location. I don't know. I don't know if it was.
This seems like I don't know Walt, obviously, but it seems like one of those things that at some certain point he would just sort of bought the garage, picked it up, and moved it to Burbank.
You're very astute, because the Hyperion bungalow, the main bungalow at that studio, was moved to the Burbank lot.
Oh,
so
there you go.
You were right. So that's the time frame we're in now. They're at the Hyperion studio, and that gives us the Snow White and the party I'm going to tell you about.
Okay.
The success of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which was released in 1937, let Disney move to their 1940 permanent location today, which is 500 South Buena Vista Street in Burbank, California. Now, we've talked about the Warner Brothers lot a lot. Mm-hmm. You worked there. Have you worked on the Disney lot?
I've done things for Disney, lots of them, but never been on the... I have visited the lot because my lovely bride worked on a Disney show, and I might have dropped something off for her. Those things happen all the time.
What show? Do you know what show she was working on for Disney?
Oh, I don't remember. These are usually like 6 weeks and out.
Right. Yeah.
I think it was a pilot.
I was on the Disney lot. My boss had a development deal, and we had an office in the animation building, which is so cool. And then he picked up and just went to New York and shot a series, and I stayed behind in the development office. So it was really kind of lonely. I wasn't part of an office group or, a lot of people to talk to, but I loved it. I just went in every day and did what I wanted. I fed the squirrels, and I was supposed to park in the parking structure that was a good 10-minute walk away. But here's this for your assistants out there. Your boss is allowed 2 stickers because they usually have more than one car. So you order the 2 stickers, you put 1 sticker on your car, and then you get to park in his space, which was right underneath the animation building. And there were tunnels. So I could go from the building right up to the office, the animation building. And that was because the animators were always building little models, and they always had sketches. And if they needed to get to other parts of the lot, they didn't want things to get wet or anything to wind blown, anything like that. And also, if you ever watched Alias, those tunnels, she's always running in those tunnels.
Right.
Always running in those tunnels. And then the other thing that I can think to tell you of Disney that I loved was because I was in the old-timey animators' offices. I mean, we're legends.
Are you going to tell me, and I hope you will,
okay,
that there's a bunch of desks, they're great big ones, and people drawing on them?
No.
Oh, no.
Late at night, I could see that.
Okay.
But they had these awnings. They had these really interesting awnings that from the inside, you could crank them, and the awnings they were aluminum, tin, whatever, metal, and they would separate to let more light into the room. Because you had to keep the room cool because it wasn't air conditioned back then, but you still had to let the light in for the animators.
Oh.
So cool. So that's Memory Lane with Sandy
Beautiful.
at the Disney lot. Yep. Snow White was the first animated feature to be produced in Technicolor. Can you explain to the kids what Technicolor is?
Not really.
Okay.
4 different colors.
And movie in colors.
Okay.
Even though the popular opinion was no one would sit through a feature-length cartoon. So everybody told Walt, don't do a feature-length cartoon, right. But he did it. Anyway, Snow White premiered in February of 1937 and quickly grossed $8 million. Unbelievable during the Great Depression.
Wow.
Yeah. At Radio City Music Hall in New York City, scalpers were getting $7.70 for reserved tickets.
What would that be? $200?
$130. Oh, good guess.
Yeah.
$130, yes.
Wow.
Critics adored the movie. It's the highest grossing animated movie of all time. And we are not even talking merchandise.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine?
I can't imagine what that made in little whatevers.
Yeah, I remember walking through a mall and a friend of mine saw a Disney store and he was like, oh, great, because they're not making enough money. Okay, the party. Time-wise, we're at the Hyperion Studios in Silver Lake, which was deemed too small to have a good party. The first choice was the Los Serranos Country Club in Chino Hills. But the more distant and more luxe Norconian Resort was landed on. The Norconian Resort was built during the 1920s and featured a golf course, riding stables, a lake, a marina, and a massive outdoor pool with diving platforms, a ballroom, and luxury accommodations. It was popular and a movie star hangout. I looked at the two places and definitely the Norconian Resort was the way to go. The event was titled Walt's Field Day. I didn't even come across any exclamation points in any of the photos. I mean, that doesn't sound like a super fun, cute time to me. A big field day. I don't know.
Really sure what that would be.
But it implies wholesomeness in the Disney brand.
There you go.
A memo was released about the party from the studio. Terry, I looked up the memo. Do you want to read it?
The entire facilities of the Lake Onion are offered for the day of June 4th. There will be no charge for either luncheon, dinner, nor dancing. That's
very big of them, since they're throwing the party.
Yeah, no charge for dancing. Additionally, free use of the pool, the golf course, get this, the ping pong tables, and badminton courts would be included. However, the resort would charge a small fee for certain items. Horseback riding, $1 an hour. Poolside towels, 10 cents each. 20 if you need 2. Overnight accommodations, $3.50 per room. Now that's super reasonable. I'd do that now.
I know, but
and most importantly,
they're going to pay for it. They're really going to make their employees pay the $3.50.
Well, let's see how much we're getting to the drinks. That's going to influence the $3.50 room. I'm pretty sure. Most importantly, and we've all been waiting for this, the alcoholic drinks. Mixed drinks would be $0.25. Beer, 15 cents. Employees are prohibited from bringing their own bucket of liquor. Listen, if you're going to take our $3.50 room, you're paying for the alcohol that got you there. So that's it. That's really funny.
It feels cheap to me. I guess this is another week I'm crying.
Well,
but it's tears of ridicule. Sorry.
Those are the sweetest kind.
Okay. There were like 3 tiers of people at this party. You had the people in their 30s who were a little bit more settled down, like Walt, and they thought of field day as a great time to relax and hit a couple of balls on the back nine. Is that correct? Hit a couple of balls on the back nine?
Sure.
Okay, because back nine to me means you get the rest of your season.
No, the back nine is you're talking about an 18-hole golf course.
Okay.
The last 9 are called the back nine.
Okay, cool.
So you're finishing up.
Okay.
That tells you where you are in the game.
Great.
He's in the back nine.
And then there were those who had been at the studio for years who believed field day would be used to announce the long-promised Snow White bonuses. Snow White nearly killed these people. They worked so hard on it. And I guess during the whole time of it being put together, Walt was dropping hints about getting bonuses for doing all their hard work.
And not just a 350 room, something nice.
Yeah, not just this party.
No, not that.
Something bigger was coming their way. They were exhausted by all the work they had done, but also, let's just say, super hyped about finally being rewarded their due. The people in their mid-20s and who were mostly single and hired after Snow White had no idea how to behave at a company party. And here they are, just handed the keys to the kingdom. Also, a notice went out, please do not bring any children.
Oh,
Okay,
well.
so the chessboard is set.
Yikes.
Walt's field day. The first activity was a golf tournament. I'm sorry, big yawn. See, your eyes lit up.
Well,
big yawn for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Terry, how about let's give points to the party activities. Okay. What do you think of the first activity being a golf tournament? So that, to me, that means all the employees have to play.
It also feels like you might win something like a 25-cent drink.
The main theme for this podcast is drinking. No, you're right. They did get fees, which I'll talk about later, but no Amazon
cash.
gift card or anything like that was handed out. So what do you think of the tournament starting off? I'm going to say 0 for me. I get no points for me.
Okay, what's the scale? 0 to 10?
1 to 10, yeah,
okay.
Points.
I'm going to give it a 7. Because
7.
people like to golf, and they would see that as a, oh, great, free golf. Unless you're going to surprise me with it costing them $100 or something.
No, and the links were beautiful.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So I mean, I do get it. Field day, tournament. It was nice. Okay. Next activity up. Relay races in the pool. Nightmare. No points for me. Point. Nightmare.
I'm gonna give them a -3.
Yeah,
because that's just a horrible idea.
Hey, would you like to get in your bathing suit in front of all your coworkers
and swim like you're defensive on it?
So where are we on the score now?
You've got 0. I'm down to 4 now from the 7.
4. Okay, good. A diving exposition on the boards. But this was done by professionals.
Oh, okay. So you're going to view them doing it?
Yes, you they didn't make the employees dive.
Okay.
On the fun scale, I'm going to give that a 2.
Okay.
What do you think?
I'm going to give it a... So are they pretty good?
Yeah, they're professional divers, and I'm sure there were fun pratfalls and...
Oh, pratfalls. Oh, I'm back up to 7.
You're back up to 7.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Good. Yeah.
All right. After the diving by professionals, men in the audience were challenged to dive off the high board, and only one animator, Milt Neal, the Duckman was his nickname, jumped off the 10-meter platform. Okay, I'm going to give that a 10, -9 for making it sexist and not inviting the women.
Okay. Listen, I don't know the Duckman. I like the idea that the Duckman jumped. I'm going 8 for the Duckman. Good for him.
When your nickname's the Duckman and they call for you to go into the pool.
You know what's expected. The Duckman.
I think you might have mentioned this, but the employees were encouraged to bring their own towels. You could rent a towel for 10 cents, but the hotel didn't want to rent out that many towels. So again, there was that request that the hotel would like you to bring your towels. So, minus 3 points. I know that's not an activity, but I want to take 3 points off.
Yeah, I'm taking 5. Yeah, and I'm taking 8 off.
Bring your own towel.
When you walk in there, especially if you tell the duck man after he's jumped, he's going to be mad. He expecting a towel for nothing. He jumped off the high dive.
Walt and his wife, Lillian, weren't at the party yet because Walt was receiving an honorary master's degree as part of the USC graduation ceremonies. Roy stepped in, and it looked like Roy was having a great time. Roy did a good job stepping up. Lunch. Yeah. Lunch was a picnic, and I can't judge the food at the picnic because I couldn't find any details, but I would have. Mm-hmm. And it's reported that's after lunch, that's when the heavy drinking began. It started during lunch, but then just really accelerated after lunch.
The quarters were just
flying. By the end of the first evening, something snapped. Ruthie Thompson, an ink and paint girl, which we'll just call her an ink and paint from now on, recalls there was a lot of booze there, and it was evident. By the end of the first evening, things got wild, and a drunk animator fell into the pool, and we had to put him to bed. That to me is a Nancy, because I had a friend when I was younger. You know that friend who always drank too heavy before the party started? That was my friend Nancy. One animator rode a trail horse into the posh hotel lobby, then galloped up the stairs and then into the pool.
With the horse?
Yeah, I hope the horse was okay.
If the horse went in, I have to up my diving number up to 10.
I accept that. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Ruthie Thompson also said, I got a little tipsy and I tried to ride the donkey. I didn't fall off, but I came close to it. Somebody got a picture of me with 1 foot up in the air. I love that. The scandalous Instagram photo.
I believe in my heart of hearts that at Disney to this day, when somebody does something wacky, it will be referred to as ride the donkey. That's what I think. That phrase went on to mean something.
With the party going full force, Walt and Lillian arrived. Some reports of the evening say Walt was so disgusted and shocked by what was happening, he turned around and went home. And that doesn't sound right to me because he was at other events.
Or
okay,
he forgot his towel. He's not paying 10 cents. He has them. They're in his house. They're just sitting there. He went back for his towel, but let's keep going to the story.
The big practical joke. When Walt was seated at his table, surrounded by a crowd, Art Babbitt, an animator who created Goofy, got in place to film a practical joke on Walt. A man in a police uniform approached Walt and placed his hand on Walt's shoulder. Walt looked up and the cop said, "Your guests are making too much noise." Walt had been drinking himself, and he kept arguing with the policeman, saying, "I'll have your badge." But home movies show Walt with a cigarette in his hand joking with the cop, so I don't know. I don't know if that showdown happened. Practical joke. I'm sorry. These are possibly some of the most creative minds in the world at this time.
Right.
And that was the practical joke. Am I being too hard on this party?
I believe that the idea that the guy who originated Goofy did a practical joke, sounds right.
Oh, okay.
It sounds connected in an almost ethereal way.
I didn't think of it. It's really a goofy joke.
It is goofy.
It's not a practical joke.
No, it's
a goofy joke. Okay, thank you. The dance party, which you didn't have to pay for, remember?
Right, free dance party.
At 9 p.m.
Ooh.
There was a dance party that Walt attended. People danced, mostly couples, but there's footage of Norma Ferragosa, a lead animator, drunk and dancing with 2 women. Conga line got started, and then everybody started the Big Apple dance, a dance craze at the time. Have you ever heard of the
Never heard of the Big Apple.
I had never heard of it before, and I looked it up. The Big Apple dance originated in the early 1930s by Black kids dancing at the Big Apple Club, which was at the former House of Peace Synagogue in Columbia, South Carolina.
Come on.
Yes. So.
What a beautiful mixture of ridiculousness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Best as I can describe it, it's like a circle version of the jitterbug.
Okay.
And it was jitterbug, but over the years, the dances became sexier within that circle. And the ink and paint people danced their hearts out. I'm going to give the dance party an 8.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to go 8, too.
Next up, dance contest. A dance contest is held at 11 p.m. and judged by the Disney lawyers. Not even going to score it.
Attorneys are going to be in charge of this.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
The dance contest.
No, I'm not even. You can score.
I love the ridiculous nature of that.
Yes.
I'm going to give it a 6.
Were their arms crossed the whole time?
Yes. And did they ask to see it again and again?
Like a red line.
Members of the jury.
Ted Sears, another animator, handed out cup trophies. This was after the dance contest.
Okay.
He handed out cup trophies to the winners of the golf tournament and the swimming relays. So they got trophies. During this ceremony, the crowd's attention was scattered in anticipation that Walt would take the stage, thank everybody, and announced
the bonuses.
Yes.
Yeah.
The moment arrives. Walt takes the stage. There's applause. Walt talks about the importance of new production and the new dedication to features. Walt ends by saying that he hoped this field day would move everyone to greater artistic efforts.
Really?
To seize the challenge that lay ahead. Not one word about the bonuses.
Uh-oh.
Applause, but not as loud as before. Before you knew it, at the pool, swimsuits went flying, and people began to swim naked. Bill Justice said animator Freddie Moore, who redesigned Mickey Mouse, got so bombed he fell out a second-story window. Moore's fall was broken by Goofy. Moore's fall was broken by a tree.
Oh, was it animated?
Yeah.
We don't know.
Animators and inkers got frisky and peered off, disregarding the gender rules assigned to each floor of the hotel. There are rumors there even was couple swapping.
Dun, dun, dun.
It was assumed all behavior was reported to Walt Disney by the staff of the Norconian. Bill Justice explains, Walt was horrified by the shenanigans. He and his wife drove home the next morning. He never referred to the party again. And in fact, if you wanted to keep your job, you didn't mention it either. Some of the men and women remained at the Norconian Resort all Sunday. With the official party over, they were now charged for all their activities. As we recall, 35 cents to swim, 25 cents to putt on the green. Beer for those who wanted to drink remained 15 cents. By the end of the day, Bob Givens, who was responsible for creating Bugs Bunny, recalls, the Norconian staff kicked us all out of there. The research for this piece was the Disney History Institute website, Wikipedia, IMDb, and a website called 80s Kids. Oh, how did we score?
Quickly, I'm looking. It looks like I came in with 34 points in the plus, and you came in at you -9 that one. That's not good. You came in with a solid 11 points in the positive.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, I think what really saved it for you was the
nudity.
Yes.
Yeah, me too. And I like the idea that the phrase, I got your bonus right here, that was born at that party.
And that's a wrap for the Writers Hangout.
Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed the show, please take a moment to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Your positive feedback will help us keep the show going so we can continue bringing you more future episodes. Remember, keep writing. The world needs your stories. The Writers Hangout is sponsored by the Page International Screenwriting Awards, with executive producer Kristin Overn, producer Sandy Adomaitis, and myself, Terry Sampson. And our music is composed by Ethan Stoller.